Good evening, Shawnee State University, and also happens to be tuning in, and welcome to a little bit of a pre-game interview. We are joined by the one, the only, the Turtle Strike, the mid laner for Shawnee State. Turtle Strike, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. I'm real excited to get into the game today.
If you don't mind if we ask a few questions. For example, how going into this match, how prepared do you think you are as a team?
We spent a lot of time VOD reviewing and getting the strategy and stuff set up beforehand. I can't really say too much just because don't want to get a little pre-game away. But we did prepare really. We spent all day yesterday basically looking over VODs, all that other stuff. So we have a good game plan going in today. This is a very good team. It's not as strong as the one 2 weeks ago, but we still have to be on our toes. And we have our plan. If we're able to do that, I think we'll be able to go on top.
Yeah, do you think that you are prepared as your team's mid laner for today's game?
Oh yeah, because I've prepped champions for this week, and I've just been spamming them and practicing them the entire time, and so I'm prepared to get onto one of those. And I'm looking for a pop-off game. I haven't had one yet in CLOL, so looking to try to get that today.
That sounds quite lovely and quite amazing. Going into this, when you were looking at the VODs, anything there specifically you were looking for? Oh, perhaps you were looking at an enemy team's compositions or where places that they happen to be weak in.
We were just kind of just looking at a general sense to see where, in fact, that we could exploit stuff and options and things that they do, and we were able to find a good, decent plan. I can't go too much in. Maybe even post game, I can go a little bit more in depth. But we did find some weaknesses in their play, and we're hoping to be able to exploit a couple of those as we move in to the game today.
How's the team energy coming off this week?
We had a good 2-0 last week. Those games were long, but with how we drafted, we were expecting the games to go long, so it's more of keep playing our option and our style that we drafted for. So we're coming off a very good 2-0 week. Everyone feels good. Practices and stuff went well this week, so everyone has high energy as we go into the match today.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Turtle Strike, and I for one am incredibly excited to see today's match and see how well you guys do. But I think that will be all for this interview, unless you have any more questions, Nia?
Nope, just good luck.
All right, go Bears. Thanks for supporting, and see you guys on the Rift.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are all excited for an incredibly interesting match in the Round 4 of the League of Legends 2022 North Conference, where Shawnee Bears will be facing against Purdue University. It's sure to be an exciting match, and before that, I believe that we're going to go to a little bit of a break.
I grew up making games, so I wanted to make a career out of that. Shawnee being a small school is the thing that drew me to it. Shawnee is nationally ranked in the Princeton list for game design. A lot of the professors own their own businesses. That kind of prompted me to start my own business. I started a game studio. I don't think that would have been possible if the school were bigger, and Shawnee put that all together for me. I'm Dalton, and I invite you to discover Shawnee State University for yourself. Please visit discover.shawnee.edu.
welcome back, Shawnee State University. We're just doing a little bit of pregame discussion before we actually get into the game. Me and my co-caster were actually just talking about it, wasn't this right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're thinking that SSU is going for a Diana ban for this team.
Yeah, because the jungle plays
or
a lot of Diana.
Or a Viego ban.
Those are like some of their most played because Viego's like they have a lot of games on Viego, but looking at their team compositions, they don't have a lot of AP damage. Like generally speaking, they don't. So like even if they have more experience on Viego, maybe Diana's just the right pick because crazy AP damage, really good engage.
Oh yeah. What do you think about like a Riven ban?
A Riven ban? Let me look at their top laner. I don't think that they play enough Riven for it to be scary. Like legitimately, they play a lot of Fiora and a lot of Camille, which are very scary champions if you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
But Riven's like if you're better than them, you pick Riven. But I don't think that's the case in this matchup. I think legitimately speaking, they're close enough in match that like you can't take the Riven.
Yeah, I'm looking at bottom here, and you think Captain Wiley is going to have a tough time versus this bot lane?
Well, that's a good question because I'm looking at their bot lane because they got like an Ezreal, a Jinx, and a Jhin, which are both all three of them solid champions. But like a lot of like how the bot lane matchup is decided is in the support. So like Countdown Legend, I think is a good enough. Our Countdown Legend's really good, and like they have Rel and Rakan. Don't get me wrong, but I think Countdown Legend can keep the team afloat.
You think you're gonna see a Karma come out in this this team against SSU for support?
It could be spicy. I think it could be spicy because if they watched our last matches, they do know our mid laner Turtle Strike does like to take the occasional supports.
Oh yeah.
So like, oh hey, we can steal a Karma from them, which could be really cool and might solve their AP issue because Karma does a lot of AP damage if you build her right.
Oh yeah. You think we're gonna see any steals from each team? Like, hey, we're gonna steal this from you.
Our team has a our ADC, the one and only Captain Wiley, has a really good Jinx. So I could expect to see either team try to steal Jinx because they both play Jinx. You know?
Oh yeah, I think that's definitely going to be one.
I could see a steal like that. That could be a really, really like threatening and stuff because Jinx is just really good with lethal tempo right now. Legitimately, I started playing Jinx because she's so good right now.
Yeah. You think Turtle's going to bring out the Quirky?
As much as I would love to see Turtle and Corki game, mid laner does play a lot of Galio.
Yeah.
By the looks of it, so we could either see like a Galio ban and then now we can pick Corki. Because Galio just has so much magic resist, you know? It's hard to, like,
what if they don't ban Galio? What do you think Turtle should play against that Galio?
That's a good one, actually, because on one hand, you could try to bait out the pick into Galio, because if they pick Galio first, that's great. Then you just say, okay, I play an AD assassin. Have fun. And I'll play Zed. Screw Galio. Yeah, so that could be it. I don't know, though. It's legitimately like there's a lot of play there. There's like, oh, hey, do we pick this or do you pick that? And just a lot of back and forth. I legitimately think that both teams, the draft is gonna look interesting though. It's gonna look, who do we ban? Who do we pick? Whatever.
We might see some new picks come out from SSU.
We might see some new things coming out, which I would for one be very excited to see. Like if we see some new strategies, like okay, because we did hear in the pregame interview there was some talk like, hey, we have some stuff that we can't tell you about, but it's gonna be interesting. And like, as a caster, like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I enjoy watching how these two very good teams are gonna play it out. I think it'll be a lot.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Mia? Like, do you think we're gonna be seeing some crazy things from this mid laner other than like maybe a Galio or Gragas play?
I don't know. I think Turtle might have a tough time here. and
Might.
I rarely see him have a tough time. So it's like this is gonna be one of those games that it can go either way. Looking at
Yeah.
these picks and stuff, it could go either way.
No, yeah, I agree. A lot of times, I like even at the few times I've like played with him or I've seen him or interact with him, he seems like a very confident person. He knows what he wants and he knows who he's gonna pick.
Oh yeah. Well, we also have Jer Bear playing from Columbus. How do you think that's gonna go?
Oh, that is Jevers in Columbus. That other than like, hey, the intermaker reason, that's interesting because that means he's not actually in the ATC with the other teammates, which means that they're going to have to communicate through Discord console. I'm guessing they always do, but still, that's interesting. That's kind of exciting, actually.
I'm excited to see how they interact with each other. I think that this game is going to be like a really good game. But going into this first game will depend on how the next game goes or the next two games go. So I'm excited to see this first game.
I think this might be one of those games that we see go to 3 games, which would be very exciting to see and like very high energy. It's also a lot of momentum because like as long as like a team can keep their mental clear, then I think going into it they'll be more fine because like, hey, if you get tilted, it's gonna make playing the games harder.
I think I feel like that's all games. You gotta stay like untiltable. Especially with League of Legends here. League of Legends is one of those games that you can get tilted real easily if you're not doing well. So
it can feel very frustrating to just be like, yes, I have been stunned 3 times in a row, and I did not get to interact in this team fight.
Yes, it's how ults go.
Frustrating. Yeah, it's just frustrating. Real frustrating. And like having that clean mental, that kind of like stoic attitude could be huge. This might come down to like who has the better mental. And from what I've seen from our team, very strong, very solid mental gameplay. Like they don't get tilted easy. They're very good. Like, okay, things don't go great. Let's pick it up. Like even last game, when they fell back in the mid game, didn't let them get into them, and they won the whole game because of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
they pushed through.
I think that but I think that generally speaking, I'm very excited to see you once event. But until then, I think we're going to be a little bit of a break. Welcome back, Shawnee State University and anyone else who happens to be watching.
Shall
We
I turn
are
my
back
and
with
rifle
picks
as
and
well?
bans, and we're going straight into it by the looks of it.
See if I care.
With a little bit of back and forth, your Caitlyn
What's the
Jinx
worst
bans
that could
and a
happen?
Lilia Vex.
No
Glad
spark
to see the
between
third
us
one,
anyway.
Zeri. I think these are some pretty solid bans, and the Urgot pick is spicy. Immediately. It is a spicy pick, and I like that pick.
Versus a Gwen.
Urgot versus a Gwen. It's an interesting matchup, especially since Gwen has her own Blessed Mist, which makes like Urgot's ultimate cannot actually execute her if she's in the mist, which is
Oh, yeah.
annoying, but very, very good.
Yeah, they have a J4 pick.
Jarvan fourth, very solid ganks. We've been seeing a lot more Jarvan fourth. I've seen in my own games. I've seen in a lot of other games. Jarvan the fourth is actually really good right now. Just solid ganks, solid engages. All around, he's a solid character. And the Shen ban does surprise me a bit, but
Gallia
that's
does.
just how it has to go. Gallia doesn't. We were talking about that before.
We were
the
talking
match.
about that.
Which, especially looking into it, Victor versus a Gallia would be a tough matchup. A lot of people fighting into a Gallia would be a very difficult matchup because he just has.
How do you think Vayne versus Samira is going to go?
Vayne versus Samira, that really depends a lot more on their supports because Vayne and Samira are both characters who can just carry the game if they get ahead. They both have a lot of outplay potential. So laning phase is going to be huge. And like Rel has like a great knockup which can trade with Samira's passive and just really good, like keep them all close, which is really good for Samira. And Karma, if that Vayne does not die, the Vayne just will kill everyone.
Oh
Which is
yeah.
scary, which is just a scary prospect in general.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
legitimately it's gonna be like, hey, Victor is really good right now, and we said Turtle Strike, hey, he kind of wants to pop off this game, and I think with Victor he can.
The Victor pick is definitely, yeah, he's been talking about that.
Mhm.
So
Victor has a lot of damage. Just Crown the Shadow Queen's really good too right now. So
I don't really see a lot of Sandra, I believe her name is Sandra.
Syndra.
All right, Syndra pick.
Syndra's really difficult to play. She is considered a control mage. So it's going to be interesting to see how Purdue University plays this. And if they play it properly, it could be a very scary pick.
Oh yeah.
I think that until then, though, we are going to go to a little bit of a break for the match. So. Welcome back, Shawnee State University, and anyone else who happens to be tuning in, and we are getting straight into the gameplay element. So, as always, the first question we have to ask is, are we going to be seeing an invade from either team? I don't think we will be seeing an invade, just by looking how they're positioning. Just like, okay, let's just make sure that the other team doesn't invade, which is probably how it should go. But still, it's always nice to think, ooh, maybe we might get a 5-man team fight the very first 5 minutes. Which is a nice thought, but I don't think we'll be seeing this game. A lot of what this game is going to fall down to, as we were discussing before this, and you did bring up actually, is because of how the team comps are lined up, it's going to fall down a lot to the early game. Are we going to see those early picks? Are those early things going to start snowballing some people? Especially like Rel. Rel has a really good early level engages, which we could be seeing in the bot lane. Maybe it also can be seeing, hey, where does the jungler start? If the jungler were to start in like the red side or the blue side, that means that the opposite side is going to be ganked. We'll actually see they're both starting on top side, with the Xin Zhao starting at blue buff and the Jarvan starting at red buff. Which means they're both going to be pathing towards bot side, which means bot side is going to be getting very interesting. If you look at the bot lane, you also see a little bit of bot lane cheese going on from the other team.
Oh, and the engage, the first engage on bottom here.
The very first engage, and Karma is going to lose her
Trying
flash.
to poke that Rel out. Karma
Indeed.
does use flash.
With Karma losing her flash, the question will come down to, hey, are you going to be able to punish her? Are those junglers pathing downwards? Are you going to be able to take advantage of the fact that Karma doesn't have a flash anymore? Because you might even be noticing right now, hey, Jarvan's starting to take the path down, and they don't have vision to see this. Now, they can reasonably suspect if they watched early on, but oop, looks like a little bit of an engage.
On bottom here, I think, yep. Smear gets the first blood. What does that mean for Purdue here?
Indeed, the immediate first blood. And as we were talking, it is going to be a lot of snowballing. That first blood does mean that bot lane is going to be inside of Purdue University. They are going to have an advantage. Now, until they actually recall and buy items, that advantage won't actually mean a whole lot. But it does look like they're going to do that immediately. Just going to let the wave crash, buy items. Now, with those little bit of back and forth, with that little bit of early game aggression, we are going to be seeing a lot of objective control. Because objectives do matter in close compositions. Like, hey, if you have a soul, that is going to be a win condition for you in this team.
Rel did use flash and ignite. What does that mean for Rel?
Well, actually, since she did use both flash and ignite, that does mean that Xin Zhao is going to have a little bit of an easier time getting a gank going on, getting some like back and forth play. Because that means Rel's kind of really vulnerable right now. Xin Zhao gets those ganks, that could be a lot of momentum in their favor. Of course, by the looks of it, it does not look like they're going to offer themselves up to gank. Gonna just sort of path towards mid lane, it looks like. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they're looking to secure a crab, which...
Oh, both junglers are trying to get that crab. They're engaging on each other. You think that they should chase that?
I don't think they should. I think that it's perfectly fine to just let it up. That they just, hey, this person's going to go back. Maybe he's going to go farm a few more camps. Maybe he's going to look for a counter gank. He's going to
have to back. He is low.
And you will be looking at the Jarvan. Looks like the Jarvan might just get ambushed by the Xin Zhao. Immediately, that Xin Zhao just gonna immediately get onto him.
Oh, Jarvan uses the flash to get after him.
Getting the revenge kill and might be able to get the double right now.
With the Gwen as well. Yep, Arctic Wolf with the Gwen kill up top. I think that they can push that top tower.
Indeed, that does look like it has the potential to be huge, with a lot of just tempo swing immediately into SSU Bears' side. That is a huge amount of tempo just right back into the other team, which, hey, as long as SSU Bears can keep this going, keep that kind of pressure up, it does mean that they will be favored. Gold is going to mean a lot in this game, and so are objectives. And that, with that little bit of top advantage, That means you can secure an early rift, potentially get a lot of tower plays, which are worth more than even a kill. And then just using that now mid lane pressure, you start to roam the map, try to get bot lane back, try to get bot lane hit, really into it. Bot lane's not even all that far behind. They're only about a kill down in about 14 CS, so they have some real potential to get back into this.
Yeah, I think honestly, bot just needs to farm. SSU just needs to farm at this point, trying to get even with them so that they can get that engage.
You might be seeing a little bit of a dragon play just because of that huge wave that's going to be crashing on the Team SSU Bears tower.
On bottom, yeah.
Jarvan is going to start the dragon. And Xin does look like he is like, hey, kind of looks like they might be set for a dragon. He's going to be looking for just a little bit of vision.
Probably going to try and steal dragon, maybe?
I don't think
he's backing off.
I
think they're just going to give him. Yeah.
It is only the first dragon, which not the greatest to give up, but it's not the end of the world that they did lose it.
Yeah, at least it's not soul.
What you are going to be noticing, especially during this match, is watch the vision control. That vision shows us who has better control of the map at the moment, and it will be a huge advantage to whichever team has better vision control. Right now, that is going to be the red team.
And there's an engage on bottom here. They use a ignite on Samira, so Samira's almost half, but they're gonna back off.
Ignite and exhaust on the Samira. Does look like potentially you might be seeing a bit of a Jarvan engage with the Syndra backing them up. That is about 4 people on the bot side for both teams.
It's a 4v4.
4v4.
I don't think we're gonna engage with each other though. I think Red's gonna leave.
It does look like that's starting to go up things. Looks like Jarvan's just going to path back, get some of his camps, go back to playing just some neutral gameplay.
Top's just poking at each other, honestly. Or just getting CS, poking at each other, getting CS, poking at each other. I think that's all top lane.
Top lane can seem to be like that for most of the matchup. Urgot is down a bit of CS, not where you want to be in the top lane. But ultimately, it does look like Rift's going to be starting to show up.
coming bot to gank on the bottom tower.
They are going to get a bit of a trade.
And that's a trade. With Karma killing Samira, but Samira killing Bane, so...
Not too crazy. It's an alright trade. No, it's basically you're just trading the ADC for the ADC. Not the worst thing in the world, but you will notice that it is... I do believe Samira who got the kill and Karma, which does mean that the ADC is up a kill as more of the support. Which means more gold on the ADC, which is where you want the gold to be most of the time. Once again, that objective play is going to be huge, as is those early solo kills. It is going to be in the favor, as though the kills may be in the favor of blue team. Red team does have more gold from just playing objectives and the like.
Gerber looks like he wants to get that Rift Herald, but also wants to gank as well.
Getting that Rift Herald could be huge, just because you can immediately convert that into just tower pressure, and a lot of it.
Where do you think Gerber should drop Rift Herald?
That's a good question. I think both top and mid lane are a solid option, although I always prefer doing mid lane. What I'm wondering is Jarvan gonna try and steal that Rift Herald, because he is near it.
He is at red. Oh, he's definitely coming in. No, he's back.
He did plant a flag. He did plant a flag, which means he might have vision of it.
SSU has Rift Herald, though.
It does appear like SSU Bears do have the Rift Herald, which is, once again, it's huge. That's a lot of gold swung in their direction. What you'll notice is that since Victor is going to be recalling, Xin Zhao is going to have to hold on to this Rift Herald for just a little bit. I'm just going to path over, get some of his camps, solid neutral play, as well is going to be looking for maybe a bit of vision, maybe for a bit of deep warding.
She placed a ward on on Raptors. What does that mean for SSU?
It's just a good place to place a ward, honestly. Just a good, solid, deep ward place. I think
looks
there's
like
not a lot.
He's trying to steal red from SSU. Red is stealing the Raptors from SSU as well.
And just invade you. Once you're ahead, you want to stay ahead in this matchup.
Oh yeah.
Use that. Use what little advantage.
And they dropped Rift Herald top, trying to get that top tower
down. That is actually a lot. That is a lot of damage with a huge wave. Gwen is still rotating back, so that might actually be the first turret for Team SSU Bears. And first turret,
they didn't get a kill bottom though with Vayne down.
I'm going to say this. I think that the kill is losing a kill is perfectly all right since you got that first turret. That is a huge spike in gold and a huge spike in pressure. Now that Urgot, he's free. Yeah, he can push the lane in. Yeah, he can side lane. But if he needs to have a team fight,
going for Turtle here. I think. Yep, Turtle's down, but Rel is getting poked out by the tower. Rel is one hit, and Countdown Legend gets the kill on Rel.
Because it does going to appear that Karma, getting that backwards kill is very nice for Karma. Just making say, hey, Rel, you're not going to get that extra gold.
That's the second dragon for Red.
Is the second dragon for Red, though. Which does mean that going into this mid game, going into this late game, they are going to be up dragons. Which is going to make it a lot harder for teams Team Red and Team SSU Bears. Just because of that dragon play is going to be in Red Team's favor. Blue Team is going to have to work a lot harder now. And of course, it doesn't mean they're out of the game. They are up a whole tower pre-14 minutes, which means that's a lot of gold because of those platings. Urgot has a lot of potential to start snowballing, especially if he starts doing really well. I think, though, that Urgot kind of just playing the dancing game with Gwen isn't what Urgot wants to be doing. He wants to be influencing the rest of the map while that wave is pushing back towards his tower. And since he's kind of just playing back and forth, that's going to give, as you see, Syndra plenty of time to just like, hey, I'm just going to rotate over and just try and get a 2v1 kill on you. I think right now Urgot really needs to be trying to get to the bot lane, try to get towards the mid lane, influence the map with his man advantage. Otherwise, he might just end up getting killed.
Oh, jungle and mid are coming to help Urgot. Arctic dives though to Gwen. But can they get that kill on the Gwen?
That is going to be the interesting question. As
and
Victor is going to get a single kill, is he going to be able to get that double kill? Missing his beam, missing the beam explosion as the graviton field does come out. Gwen is trying to zone him out with the scissors,
and
using his W, using his Q. One hit away, as they're both incredibly low. This is going to be dangerous for both teams. Victor is going to get the solo kill with his beam, killing off the Gwen, getting that little bit of extra gold. That is huge. That is a double kill, both on the one
Karma did die from the Samira on bot lane while that was happening. So
while that was happening, that was unfortunate, and that is going to be more gold.
I think that's bot, that's bot tower.
That is going to be bot turret. That is going to be Jarvan stealing more camps, which will make Jin Zhao's job a lot harder. It does mean bot is going to be playing weak side this game.
I think Xin Zhao should just, steal red camp as well.
It does look like he has been stealing them. Xin Zhao is going to have to try and fight for this top tower signs. The thing is, once as we mentioned earlier, that vision control is huge. Because that means Xin Zhao can't effectively steal red team's camps. Because Xin Zhao goes in, the red team's going to know he's going to be there. And they're going to collapse.
Bounties. SSU does have bounties, so getting those dragons and Rift Herald and the towers is going to be more gold for SSU, which is pretty good.
Indeed. That does mean they are currently behind gold by like 3,000, which isn't the worst place to be, but it's not a great place to be. I do agree, though, getting those objective bounties is going to be huge this game.
Oh, yeah.
And especially as you're going to be noticing, they're going to start trying to get some midway pry out, and Rift Herald is going to be coming up fairly soon. as the red team is going to be setting up vision to control that kind of location to make sure that, hey, you aren't going to get this Rift Herald for free. We're going to fight you for it.
You think they're gonna try and team fight in the Rift Herald or mid?
I think they have to fight. I think they, in order to get Rift Herald, I think they're gonna. I think red team is not gonna let them give it up. I think they're gonna try and team fight for it. Where, I'm not entirely sure, but I think they are going to try and take a team fight. The question is SSU going to say, okay, let's team fight, or are they just going to respect this and back off? Like, okay, it's not worth it. I think that Team SSU needs to try and fight the team fight for it.
Arctic did have to back up because he was low. And Urgot used Flash to get out from Gwen.
Which is going to mean that the red team is going to get the Rift Herald, which is a lot of tower pressure onto the mid lane, as you are most likely going to be seeing game dropped here.
Dropped mid. Turtle Strike does not want that Rift Herald to be dropped mid, because if it drops mid, that they're...
I don't think Turtle Strike can do anything without significantly help. There were not enough people here.
A Rift Herald's gonna come straight for,
What you will notice also is that they were waiting for the dragon to spawn, because that means that they're going to have to divert their resources to paying attention towards mid. Immediately, you're going to see the red team, hey, let's go get this drag.
Red did grab SSU's red buff to get this dragon.
Jarvan is constantly applying pressure to the blue team's jungle, making sure that, hey,
what do you think SSU can do here to come back from this? Next dragon is Soul, I believe?
It is going to be Soul next drag, which is huge. Because of just, hey, the Rift play. That Rift play was amazing. Waiting until the dragon spawns, immediately dropping it to rotate the dragon. That means that they weren't able to team fight for it, which means that's 3 dragons up. The next dragon is their Soul, which is... And the fact that that Xin Zhao's been starved of his resources that he's needed for most of this game, that means that, hey, he's going to be behind Jarvan.
For SSU. What do you think SSU can do to come back from this?
I don't know, actually. By the looks of it, they're going to probably have to start team fighting. What do you think?
I think that they should start team fighting and pushing towers, because towers are going to give them gold as well. And if they just keep pushing towers like one at a time, I think that they'll be in good shape. Or trying to team fight on either Baron, Rift Herald, or Dragon.
I think that while that might be a good decision, but Xin Zhao is going to be behind in the team fights because Jarvan has been starving him of resources. Those invades are going to start coming back to bite Xin Zhao. It's going to start hurting. And pushing the sidelines, while it will most definitely be very effective, it's going to be difficult. Because the only solid split pushers are the Vayne and the Victor, who are necessary people for the team fights. Urgot's going to be split pushing hard, and he has been split pushing this entire game just because he has very good split push. But this Gwen has just been here, gladly fighting him back for the spacing.
Looks like they might team fight top.
It does look like there could be a little bit of a 4v2 in the top lane. 4v3 actually, there is a Xin Zhao here.
Gwen did make the first engage. Gwen does kill the Urgot. And Gwen gets a double kill on Karma. And then Samira gets to just be
incredibly unfortunate for...
And Victor.
This is going to be incredibly unfortunate of SSU Bears coming into this late game. They are now behind by over 5k gold. That is very unfortunate. They're going to have to start be looking for less of a team fight and more for just, hey, playing for these objectives is going to be difficult.
I think if SSU goes for the Gwen and the Samira, because the Samira and the Gwen both have bounties on them, if they can get kills on them, I think they'll be back in it.
I don't think that's the case actually. I think that just getting the kills on them is going to be too difficult because Gwen has effectively a mini Xin Zhao with her W being able to just say, hey, Gwen is immune to any outside force. And Samira's with her mini wind wall on her W and just incredible dashes. Plus that Rel is not leaving the Samira alone, keeping that Samira protected. If you want to engage on Samira, you're going to need to engage on Rel. And Rel has incredible knockups with an incredible ult from the Samira as well.
Yeah. I think they maybe like fighting on Baron.
I don't think they can reasonably fight in a team fight though. They are too far behind right now. Because in a 5v5 situation,
Should they like
once
split people? Like make people go like some people go bottom, some people go mid or something, and then take those fights?
I think that's what they have to do a lot of these times. They're going to be catching these waves. A lot of the time that it comes down to some people aren't where they need to be when they're needed. For example, Urgot's been in top lane most of this game, and I don't think that's where he's supposed to be. I think that there's also like, hey, Victor and Vayne are in the bot lane right now, and yes, that could be very interesting for the setup to Dragon, because Dragon will be spawning fairly shortly. But that means like, hey, if you want to fight for the Dragon, you're gonna need a coordinated team effort. You can't just be there. Plus, these people are going to say, like, hey, let's get some of these solo kills. Let's try to kill these two people alone. And a 5v5 is difficult, but winnable. A 3v5, however, is effectively not a problem for the red team.
It's going to be very difficult, especially in a team fight scenario for SSU. But I think Urgot should be careful
with these pokes. They need to be very careful, because if they're out of position, the red team will collapse on them, and they will kill them.
Urgot, I think, is coming in to help here.
But you will notice them in the bushes. They do not currently have vision there, as they're going to get a team fight engaged, going to get the ult off. That Cataclysm immediately shocking them, locking them in place, getting an easy kill.
Getting the kill on Victor.
Samir cleaning it all up, as that is an ace from the red team. Getting the entire team eliminated with just huge amounts of things. Securing the soul. That is a huge amount of tempo swing, as the rest of the team's going to swing over for Baron. That might spell disaster for Team SSU Bears, actually.
Yeah, I think they still have a chance if they definitely want to split people from their team and kill them one by one.
At this stage, I think it might be too late for SSU Bears, as that's not only going to be the Baron, it is also going to be the Dragon Soul. That is a huge amount of tempo swing. Now, maybe if Team SSU Bears really do some crazy outplays, we might be able to see them come back. But I think that these next few team fights are going to be the deciding factor of how this game goes. Can SSU Bears stabilize, or will they be completely destroyed by this Baron buff?
Samira got stopwatch. So even if SSU tries to dive on that Samira alone, she has stopwatch, and her team can come in and help her. So that's going to be tough.
It does look like that means that Samira is going to be building up towards Guardian Angel. Just securing that, hey, you're not going to be getting kills on me, at least not solo kills. It's going to make Team SSU Bears have a much, much more difficult job coming into this.
SSU is mid and jungle are down in items currently as well.
And Samira is up to about her third item. Her third full.
Gwen just pushing bot here, just all the way. Just Urgot trying to stop Gwen from getting this tower in front of an inhibitor. Everybody else trying to fight mid here.
Samira is going to just be trying to get these kills as just dashes.
And that's a double kill.
Using her ult.
That's a triple kill for Samira. Syndra getting that kill on Jerbear, and then J4 just getting that kill or getting that tower.
As Urgot will be thinking, and I think that is game. Unfortunately, that looks like the red team is going to be.
Karma might be up in time, but I don't think she can do anything.
I don't think that Karma will be able to do anything with a full Baron team, with even these minions.
That was just unfortunate.
Good game.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate getting those picks.
Early picks really began to snowball for Purdue University. I agree. It was unfortunate.
Gwen did have 11k gold for her team. and then Samira getting 15k gold for her team, going 12-1-6. That was rough.
And if you look at the damage,
Um,
Samira did over 13,000 damage over the course of that game, vastly superior than almost anyone on the blue team. Just
Oh yeah.
alone, her DPS was overwhelming. Vayne and Karma were really shut off during that game. Just a lot of bot side focus made that so that they were playing weak side.
Oh yeah.
And the one advantage that Urgot early game tower drop, unfortunately, Urgot was not able to convert that into other map pressure. He unfortunately was just, hey, I have to protect top lane, even if he wasn't necessarily needed to be there. It was just unfortunate on how that all went, and a combination of factors did make that very difficult for both teams, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was just, scratch that game. We're going on to the next.
Indeed,
They got to move on from that.
Mhm.
They really need to keep their heads up. They're doing well. They didn't do bad.
They didn't do bad.
So-
No. And once as we talked earlier, that mental game will be important. If they can clear their minds,
Oh,
just
yeah.
say completely fine as they can recenter themselves, it could mean that these next 2 games could immediately be a reverse sweep for SSU Bears. But they're gonna need to keep that mental. They're gonna be able to need to be tilt proof.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think being tilt proof in any game is going to be a win or lose situation.
A huge advantage.
Yep.
With that, looking into it though, it will be exciting to see the next game as we will be going to a bit of a break for now. Welcome back, Shawnee State University, and anyone else who happens to be watching, and welcome back to the pick and ban section of the game. Right now, we're going to immediately see some very similar bans to last game with a Lily Effects, and here's Zeri, and Fiora, Jinx, and Caitlyn bans. Immediately, very similar last game. That's right off the bat. You will notice, however, when they're actually going through the picks, there will be a few different picks going through them. For example, in our jungler spot, you're actually going to see us pick Gwen, stealing it away from their top laner. Gwen in the jungle. I don't have a lot of experience with Gwen jungle, honestly. I know it's a very good strategy. I was also just solidly, hey, I want to be aggressive. I also want to just carry the game later. The spicy pick of Ivern mid.
Ivern mid versus a Ziggs. How do you feel about that?
It all depends on how Ivern wants to play the game. There are really two ways to play. I'm guessing he's going to be playing the support Ivern mid, which I'm not a huge fan into the Ziggs because Ziggs is just really pokey and just really good at just zoning out Ivern. That being said, not a bad pick at all. Or we could be seeing AP Assassin Ivern, which I'm really hoping for, but it's not the objectively worst strategy.
Yeah.
AP Assassin Ivern would be very spicy though, and I think AP Ivern, I would love to see it just because the damage is actually.
How do you feel about this Jhin, Leona versus this Tristana Rel?
Okay, this is going to be weird. Tristana is difficult in this competition because Tristana on one hand has a really good disengage option and a really good engage option. Now, Rel doesn't. Rel has a good engage option. That's it. Now, if you see Tristana and now Leona and Jhin want to get really aggressive, really up in their face, really just, hey, grab in, swing in, stun, and Jhin can just 1, 2, 3, 4, immediately killing them off. Rel is a difficult choice into that composition because Rel's engage means that if things go south, and with a Leona, they're not entirely unlikely to, Rel just dies, and making an easy kill for the Jhin. And Tristana might be thinking, oh, hey, I have a very good out. Leona's very good at chasing people down with her hook and her stun, making Jin's very good at catching them with immediate W. That's like 3 forms of CC, one after another. I actually really like SSU Bears. Now, it's not impossible. Jarvan will definitely make up for any difference in the composition. A Jarvan dive in will make it so that now Leona is very difficult because Leona and Jhin don't have an out. Jarvan dive in would make it bad for them. But if you don't see the Jarvan aggressing a lot towards bot side, that could be very bad news for the other bot team. That being said, Jarvan does like playing bot side, as we saw last game, so not entirely unlikely, not entirely
improbable. We did see that Jarvan wanted to like get our like camps and stuff. He'd like to invade. That's just
how I would actually argue that right now, as a jungler, you should just be a very aggressive invading. That is just what is good right now. What we're going to be hoping to see is vision control. Vision control, vision control, vision control. That is the name of the game. If you know Jarvan's in our lane, great. We can just immediately go in and kill them. Jarvan is good. He's solid. He has good engages. Doesn't matter if there are 3 people immediately jumping on him. If you can control the vision, if you can make sure that deny them that space, deny them that like seeing into our jungle, we are going to be aggressive. And you will notice Ivern is really good at invading. As he's not the jungler, but he is really good at invading because he can just go there, kind of start his thing and leave, coming back later to take the camps. If you get vision control and eventually vision pressure into their jungler, Ivern's just going to start stealing camps, stealing gold, and you're going to see an inverse of what happened last game where we are going to have all the gold, we're going to have all the experience, and we're going to be able to just take that Jordan and suck out his little life remaining force and just have great pressure.
Yeah, I have another question for you. How do you feel about this Trundle Jax on top?
Trundle Jax is a very fun engagement, actually. It's a very fun fight because it's weird. Trundle steals stats from the other team, and Jax's ultimate is, I have more stats. So that kind of like back and forth is going to be just fascinating. And it's really going to come down to how well do they know the character. If our top laner really knows Trundle, great. Trundle's going to just run Jax over. But if he's like, oh, I'm kind of okay, and Jax is really good, Jax gonna steamroll Trundle. And both characters are capable of 1v9ing if they get really ahead. So it's gonna come down to like, how does that play out? Jarvan and Gwen are gonna have a lot of influence on the map, just like, where are they going? Where do they choose to gank? And Gwen and Ivern and Ziggs is gonna have a lot of. Ziggs might win the laning phase unless we say AP assassin Ivern, but Ivern has the. Okay, great, you're gonna beat me in lane. I'm just gonna go still jungle camps. See you later.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this game.
Genuinely, this is gonna be a fascinating game between both teams. It's gonna be really just a lot of just genuine interesting, and we're gonna be seeing a lot of where's the jungler at any given point, where does the mid lane decide to gank. That is going to be a lot of deciding factors for these matches. And I think we're actually about to get into the game, if I'm not mistaken. I do not believe that I am. And we'll be going, I now is correct, directly into the game, as I'm just going to speed up real quick just to make sure that I'm on the right time. Believe that I am. So, I'm a little bit behind. All right. And now we're going to be seeing, are we going to be seeing an invade? Now, I would actually argue that Ivern really should invade. Of course, it's not going to be easy because all of red team's like, okay, we're going to watch all the entrances. You're not getting the early invade here. Which is how it should be, especially into it, and especially at this level. So what you're going to be seeing is you're going to want to see when Ivern hits level 6. Because what happens is a very little fun thing about Ivern is Ivern actually, when he steals a buff or he takes a buff with his passive, it'll give the buff to not one but 2 people. Meaning that effectively you can double it up on your team, giving you 2 red buffs, 2 blue buffs, or stealing 2 red buffs and 2 blue buffs, which could be huge. Additionally, that bush control is going to be important because Ivern's ability to create bushes might seem like, oh, it's kind of nice, but that lack of knowing where one person is or even be able to double up people at any given time.
That's scary.
That is, yeah, exactly. That's scary.
That's
not like,
terrifying.
Oh, geez, there's like 4 people in here or there's nobody in here. Ooh. And I'm kind of...
That's why you said it comes down to vision control.
I apologize. What was that little?
That's why you said it. It comes down to vision control.
Mm-hmm. Having that control, which it's not easy to get, as on either team. It's going to be long. It's going to be arduous. But when someone gets it, it's going to be crazy. Watching where the junglers are pathing is going to be important, as they both did start in the top sides respectively, blue top and red top. And it does look like Jarvan's immediately going to be pathing down to possibly get a gank. And it does look like Jerry is setting up for either a 4 or 5 clamp here. Clamp clear. English is hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody's just kind of poking at each other. I don't think they can really do anything until level 3, 4, maybe?
Depends on the character. Leona, for example, is a very good early power spike on level 2, but does not look like she won for anything. You will notice immediately Jarvan's going to say, like, hey, let's get an early invade. And Ziggs is going to be like, I'm going to help with that. Rel's going to rotate over. Leon's going to rotate over. Everyone is rotating over for this. Just to make sure that Jarvan, hey, we're not going to let you get this red buff not without a fight, which is how it should be. Leon's
and Countdown Legend going in. Trying to back him off. They did end up stealing the red buff. Ziggs with the first blood.
First blood on Jix.
Captain Wiley gets a kill on the Rel though.
He's gonna be able to get a kill, but will lose the Leona for that kill. That is 2 for 1, unfortunately, on the red side's favor.
Jax is low top, but I don't think Arctic's gonna run for it.
They are going to collapse onto the first bot side turret, which does mean potentially a plating right here for both Jarvan and Tristana. It's gonna be good. Once it, now that this thing that is gonna be a little bit of
They
early pressure.
engage on the Tristana, but Tristana jumps out.
Shawnee is gonna be able to get out. Tristan Leon's not quite gonna be able to get nothing. Like that's okay. That's fine. As it does look like there's gonna as draft is gonna be spawning. Now, right now, once again, if you look at vision control, red side is immediately showing their prowess in this domain. As on the bot side, there's a huge amount of vision for their team red. And now Leona, they could theoretically leave to go sweep this all out, but Leona doesn't even know that's there, theoretically. Now, it does look like Leona's like, okay, as we start talking about this, Leona's like, okay, I know they like to do vision control. We're going to sweep it. Now, that is a good, solid play. What I am unfortunately saddened by this is they're not going to look at those two deeper wards. That's fine. The wards are going to die off very soon. And we're back to like a vision neutral state.
Who do you think should be that first engage on the dragon here?
I think that's very situational. Because right now, as you'll be noticing, immediately Leona and Jin are going to be trying to go for the double kill here. I do think
gets a
Jin
kill on
could theoretically
Countdown
get the kill
Legend.
here. But that Tristana position is going to be very difficult, very challenging. Jin is going to miss the W. That's fine, is that both of them are going to go for the recall. Unfortunately, those solo kills are going to just push into the red side of favor. Blue side is already behind.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
impossible,
they're
however.
behind in gold by like Blue's behind in gold by like 3K right now.
We all know, however, in this matchup, comparatively to last time, Tristana does scale very nicely, but I would argue Jin does scale better. As long as Jin can keep up ahead of CS, or can at least stay even with Tristana kills, which he's already a little behind. He's already a little ahead, actually, now that I look at it. That it's entirely possible for Jin to actually be able to snowball and Gary. You will notice that the Jarvan is going to be setting up the gank, however. My apologies. You were saying something?
You're fine. They do get that gank on the Leona here. I think Countdown Legend might go here. Yep. And Captain Wiley's next. Zig's getting a kill on him. Bear trying to help, but he can't do much, so he gets out. I think each lane is going to be pretty well set if they just stay ahead.
Well, evidently. But unfortunately, the problem is they're not ahead. They're already at a huge disadvantage, even larger than last game. And that turret advantage that was once on the top side during last game is now going to be heavily in favor of the bot side.
I think they still can come back from it.
I think they definitely can. It's not
early.
impossible. Especially with they're only about 7 minutes in the game. It's entirely possible with a good objective control, with good just ganks, and even if Jin starts doing some crazy things with Countdown Legend, Captain Wiley and Captain Legend start doing some crazy things against like Yagi and LV, there could be some crazy plays to get them back in here. But as it stands right now, they are behind. And immediately, what Red Team is going to want to do is they're going to want to start converting these solo kills into objectives. Taking dragons, taking rifts, taking towers. Because, yes, they are ahead, but that could change at a moment's notice. So they need to solidify their position while they can.
Yeah, so since SSU is behind, what do you think that they should do now?
Well, now that they're a little behind, what they're going to be wanting doing is good fundamental plays. Good CSing. Just maybe not going for the solo kills, because it's really difficult to do that, but if you could struggle for even 1 or 2 dragons, that would put you in a great position to stabilize where you are, so that in the future, where maybe some team fights go your way, or maybe some more engagements go where you need them to, you
like
will
Red
be
is
ahead.
Trying to get that Rift Herald.
Now this is what we're talking about. Red Team's going to want to convert this in their little bit of ahead of pressure into these objectives. Now, if by any chance that the blue team could steal this away, that would be amazing. Would be amazing. Don't know if that's entirely possible, however, as Tristana is a little ahead.
They were just poking them back. They couldn't go in or anything.
A little bit of a missed opportunity. But that's all right.
J4 does have the Rift Herald. Where do you think he's going to drop it at?
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely.
So SSU should be looking to protect mid here.
I don't think they reasonably can. It's Rift Herald. As long as it does literally anything.
With Daisy coming out in mid here, trying to get that rel. Jax does get the kill on Trundle up top, with Gwen getting the kill on the Jax and then summoning Rift Herald mid.
That's a lot of platings, which is what you're going to be wanting to see from the Rift Herald. Rift Herald doesn't need to take a tower, it just needs to get the charge off.
J4 is very low here, he's one shot.
Which will
Turtle
be getting...
Strike with the kill on the J4.
Turtle Strike will get that kill, which is very nice, very clean, very good for him. Now, if Turtle Strike can... I'm sorry, we were just a little bit ahead. We have now fixed that. Now, that first turret immediately, as we mentioned, since the turret is down last game, it means that, hey, now the Urgot was free, but now it means that the bot lane is free to start applying pressure to the rest of the map. And you immediately start seeing that is bot lane is in the mid lane. They're saying, hey, we're ahead, we have the turret down, we're going to start pressuring your lane. Now, Ivern, however, has a little bit of an advantage. He's been solo lane this entire time, which means he has solo lane XP and solo lane gold. And since Ziggs has kind of been around there, doesn't always mean that he's going to be able to help. But with that Ziggs there, Ziggs has a fun little passive that does let him execute turrets, and he is going to utilize that to get more turret gold. That's 2 turrets down for the red team, converting those early advantages, as we mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, it looks like red's trying to engage on the dragon here as well.
More objectives is better for them. Now, what blue team's gonna really do is they need to stabilize. Desperately. They're gonna need to stabilize these things. That is what they want to want to win the game. They will take the first dragon, indeed. If they can stabilize, they have a real solid chance of winning this game. Because I do think they scale better.
For sure.
I
think they definitely scale better than...
But right now, the enemy team is snowballing. So unless they can stabilize, it's gonna be a clean wrap for them. You're gonna see a Gore Drinker purchase from their Jarvan. Once again, good, which is just good in fight sustain. As a team, what you're really going to be hoping for is vision clear. If they can get some vision control over on the other side, then especially Ivern and even Gwen can start stealing the camps from Jarvan and start trying to choke Jarvan out of his resources that he needs. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that you're going to have to track this Jarvan properly. And Jarvan knows this. He's like, okay, I'm just going to take... you know where I am? Great. If I can have vision control, I know where you are, and that's more important.
Arctic switched lanes here. You quit going top to go mid and try and help the mid tower out. Top turret is only at 4 as well. So neither top turret is down right now, which I think is pretty solid for Arctic. But
it's definitely a state. Now, Arctic is what he's trying to do is because he's catching this wave, that effectively means that, alright, you guys can go in team fight, I'll make sure that the wave doesn't pressure our turrets, and I'll get the experience for it.
And there's an engage on blue buff.
There does look like there's going to be a bit of a team fight in
with an R coming out from Captain Wily. With Gwen getting the kill on the J4, Ziggs getting the kill on Leona, but Gwen getting the kill on the Rel as well, with a triple kill from Jerbear.
That was a very nice little piece of being ahead for the blue team. That is going to be a trade of 2 people is going to be a little bit of a trade for a person for 2 people, which is going to put them in a little bit of an advantage, which is good. That's what they need. As long as they can start stabilizing, they're going to be fine. That little bit of a pressure, that little bit of, hey, we got to kill up on you, that is what you need to start stabilizing. You also see very nicely, well, that's a lot of vision control in the top side and even the bot side for the blue team.
Countdown Legend did miss his stun, so that ended up getting Trundle killed, I believe.
I don't think he missed his stun, because most of Leona's stuns are point and click.
He did miss it. He missed his grab. This was.
Oh, okay. That is unfortunate, but the re-kill
Leona did get the kill, though, on that Jax. So that was, I think it was an RA trade.
That is perfectly fine, because what you will notice, especially at this stage, is if they just trade 1-for-1, red team's ahead, which means that the blue team will do bounties. So the blue team will stabilize if they keep on trading 1-for-1. And with the objective bounties now spawning up, it looks like blue team is starting to stabilize into this mid game. And if they can, like, okay, we're comfortable, we can get these objective bounties, they'll be just fine going into this late game. But this mid game is going to be very difficult for them, and it will set up the precedent for what will happen later.
Red is setting up for Rift Herald here.
Because Red recognizes that if blue team stabilizes, they're in a lot of trouble. So red team's like, okay, let's get this Rift Herald and let's start snowballing this advantage. Let's take this tower and just push him on hard and maybe mid or maybe probably mid lane and just really just do a lot of devastating damage to them. I do not like where Leona is positioned, however, right now. Because there are 3 people coming down and there's a Jax below her. If this Leona does not get out, it could mean that that everyone could immediately just converge on them. Leona will get out and will be safe, however.
Daisy coming out with the stun on the Jax floor with Captain Wiley's R coming out. Zig's getting a kill on Jerbear here. Tristana getting a kill on Leona, but Captain Wiley with the double kill. Captain Wiley does get shut down by the Jax and a double kill from the Jax.
That Jax will get a lot of advantage from that entirety of the team fight. Unfortunately, going to turn them in their favor. That is a very unfortunate state to be. However, because Turtle Strike is still alive, that does mean he can potentially protect the outer turrets. But it does not look like he will be healthy enough to do so, as Ziggs will most likely get this turret.
And that's Rift Herald getting 2, maybe 2, no, it was a turret and a,
2 charges off. Yeah, it's 2 charges off, which is worth at least a turret and then almost a second turret entirely. That is a lot of damage for the blue team, and it is going to make this stabilizing a bit more difficult.
That was second dragon taken by red.
Now, what they're going to be looking out for, especially,
to engage on this Jax, but I think now what
they're going to be looking out especially for is they're going to have to watch out for the Jax and they're going to have to watch out for the Ziggs, as both of those 2 people are the ones who are fairly ahead. Now, other than those 2 people, most of the team's not that far ahead.
Jax did get the kill on Jerbear and a double kill on Leona.
And countdown left, yeah. Now, as long as you can take engagements without those 2 people there, you're pretty solid. You're pretty good. Tristana's not that far ahead. The Jhin is ahead of the Tristana and the Rel, and even the Jarvan. So as long as you guys can take engages on anyone who's not those 2, you should be fine. That being said, Ziggs' incredible long range and Jax's jump makes it so that it's not going to be easy. That being said, Trundle could reasonably fight maybe someone like the Jax if he gets good assistance, because Trundle will be able to stat steal.
Daisy comes out. They're looking for an engage, I believe. I think they're gonna back off though. I think they're waiting for Countdown Legends R to come out before they engage. Everybody's just kind of stabilizing.
Right now, what especially is going to be looking to happen is, okay, you are behind. Especially going into this late game, you are behind. So, what do you need to do as a team? Well, for starters, don't lose the game. That much is obvious. But, legitimately, if you can keep around, if you can force this game to go longer, then you will catch up just through the nature of how items and gold works. You just need to try and force this game out. Do not let them get more objectives. Try to steal dragons from under their feet and under their noses. And just try to keep yourself alive. Don't take unnecessary team fights. Try to win the little engagements you do take. And if you can do that, reasonably speaking, you can get into the late game. Because then, eventually, people like Jarvan will start to fall off. Rel will start to fall off.
Captain Wiley getting the
And
engage on the
Eagles
Jax
start
here, trying to
beating
kill him in tower, with Leona getting that stun off. Captain Wiley's R comes out to get that Jax. Jax does die, but
As that is a huge amount, as that is a good amount of gold, but there is 4 people going on the top lane, as it is only Turtle Strike and Trundle who are looking to defend it.
next
You're going to be seeing the Tristana go engage. The immediately
Leona getting
Leona's
that
gonna
stun
get the
off.
stun off. Trundle's going to flash in, get the kill. As the
Red
whole
is
fight
down
is-
2 right now versus our 1, Leona.
It does look like everything's
So
starting to stabilize up.
Red has to back off here because they're down 2.
They are down, and I think Red recognizes this. They're like, okay, that's fine. We can retreat. We can fall back. We can start trying to set up for maybe even a drag play here. Or it does look like Jarvan and Jax are both top line. That could mean they're going to be trying to fight for a Baron play. Now, Baron play, it'd be very good for blue team if they can get it, because that would be probably enough to stabilize them for quite a long while. But if red team gets it, that might just be the end for blue team. Because Baron is a huge buff, especially with supers pushing down the mid lane and the top lane. Could be the end. Of course, red team could also be looking for the Baron, could be the Dragon play. Now, I would argue that what they're probably going to end up doing is they're probably going to send maybe like 1 or 2 people to fake Dragon as they actually take Baron. Because if they take Baron, that's the game. Dragon is nice, but it's not as game ending. Now, blue team is going to be wanting doing is, number 1, make sure they don't take the Baron. Number 2, try to steal the Dragon. In this case, I do think it's legitimately worth it to sacrifice someone like Jerbear for a Dragon steal.
I think they are going to take the Red's going to take the Hextech Dragon here, though.
And unfortunately, because of positioning, Jerbear will not be in a position to steal it.
And Jax is ready to get that Baron.
Yeah, as the rest of the 14 will be rotating over for the Baron, trying to get that double play. Unfortunately, this is a thing you need to team fight for. You do not get a choice in this matter. Because if they get the Baron, that is potentially game over. And I think Gwen and Leona both recognize this. If you can activate that Hextech gate, teleport to the opposite side, and then flash over it, you might be able to take it, but it probably is already too late.
Leona's slow to get out.
As they are now
here.
significantly out of position for where they should be.
Everybody's engaging on that Jax. I think that Jax is gonna die here.
Not with his W still active. As the W will protect him, he will get out to get the secured. Jarvan is going to get the jump kill, jumping onto Jim, making
Thanks
sure he
with the
can't get away.
double kill.
Gwen is going to be stunned. And again, as
Turtle
she's going to have
Strike
to
with
dash
the
in,
kill on
Daisy's
the
going to get a kill.
Tristana.
Being
Double
able to
kill
help.
on the Jax. I think that double kill for Turtle Strike on the Jax was all right. Now that
That was
Red
very
has to
nice,
back
and
off.
it will make sure that they don't lose immediately right here. Of course, that's going to be a lot of gold in the red side, so they're just saying, okay, fine, that's fine. We can just steal the camps, and then we can fall back. But for a little while longer, it is going to give blue team time to respond, and it is going to be able to say, you get to live to see the next team fight, which is what they need. At this point, every team fight, they just need to survive. And all red team needs to do is they need to force one massive loss. One ace is going to be enough. As long as blue team can survive, as long as they can manage, they'll be alive for the next team fight. As long as they're alive for the next team fight, that means that they get more gold, more items, and eventually, we're going to get to a state of the game where it doesn't matter about how good the early game was, because everyone will have all their items. That is what you want for the blue team. Red team needs to close the game out far before this happens, and with Baron buff, that might just be enough to do it.
That is bottom turret. I think all turrets are down except for turrets
All
by
turrets
Nexus.
are down. All turrets except for inner turrets are down. He's gonna pressure out the
Sometimes
Jarvan
Legend
with
just
her hook.
trying to back off the J4.
And right now they're just like, okay, let's try
Jax
to take some.
engaging on inner turrets here.
Jin getting a good solid kill on that. The super minion's going to be doing a lot of tower damage to the interiors. Daisy is going to try and fight as he is going to be able to knock up Jarvan.
Rooted.
That is a huge ult doing massive damage to Captain Wily and Countdown Legend, who barely managed to survive this. Will have to return back to tower to Fountain to get their health
They do
back.
get that kill on the Tristana, so they are up 1.
Which is massive. That up 1 does mean that a team fight is going to be a lot harder for a team, which means they have to fall back and they need to reset and they live to see another team fight. As long as we keep seeing that, they have to keep living to see another team fight. That means that slowly but surely, the blue team is going to start stabilizing. Of course, the most important objective at this point you're going to be seeing is Dragon's Soul. Because if they get Soul, that is a power buff large enough that these team fights that are barely going in SSU's favor, they're gonna start going.
That is going to be
favor.
Hextech Soul as well. What are we looking for Hextech Soul, since it is a new dragon?
It's static shift. Basically, it's static shift. That's what it is, and it's a lot of influential power. Now, fortunately, Hextech Soul doesn't benefit any of these champions too much, but still, it's a soul, and a soul gives you at least an 80% chance to win. Of course, there is that 20% chance, and right now that's what
Daisy
SSU is banking on.
does come out here to try and help fight. Jack's taking an inhibitor on the top side.
If Jax takes that inhib, that will be the 3rd inhib, and that will be disaster, because that will mean double super spawns are going to start activating. As right now, it is looking to be just going to be a final fight.
They did kill the Jax though.
Jordan
They
is
got the
down.
Jax
They're
down.
He's going to kill the Tristana. When Will goes down, they're going to knock around Rel.
Jack's R comes out, or Jin's R comes
down,
out, getting the kill on the Rel.
That's the 4 goal. That is the double kill that they needed. That is 4 up. That is a stabilize. They get to live to see the next team fight.
What do they think they should? What do you think they
They're
should
not
do
done
at this
yet. They're
point?
not done yet. As you notice, they're going to immediately, they're going to say, this dragon is our dragon. That is what they need. And it looks like they might even be able to run into the Jarvan. Can they get the kill on the Jarvan?
Can they
Jarvan's
get
gonna
that
activate.
ace on the
Jarvan's gonna
Jarvan?
kill. Jarvan's gonna have to retreat, using his flag in Demacia. They're like, that's fine, let's get this dragon. Objective bounty. Jin is gonna
Jarvan
start
does look
stabilizing.
like he wants to steal the dragon there.
Ivern is gonna start zoning out this Jarvan, saying, no, you are not getting this. They're gonna get the teleport in. Jax is here. Daisy comes out. Activate the Gore Drinker. Tristana comes in the engage. Trundle, unfortunately, does lose this fight.
J4 was so low as well, and I think that is
That
soul.
will be soul for the red team. And going into this next fight, blue team is going to be down 1 person. And with that double super spawns, this might be the end.
It is only Nexus at this point. They have
It is
no.
Nexus. It's an exposed Nexus, which means that blue team is going to have to be fighting with their very life and soul to keep this up.
Yeah, they're gonna have to throw everything they got at it if they want to keep this this Nexus up.
It looks like the engage is going to be starting. Immediately, Will's going to activate. Jarvan's going to go right for the Nexus. Tristana's also going to go for the Nexus. Double teaming. It might be the end right now.
And that is game.
Unfortunate for Team SSU Bears. That is GG. That is going to be the game. Such an intense game, and for a moment, even in the most
it was a good game.
Wow.
I think it was a good game.
That was a strong game and a strong showing, especially towards the end. They didn't let it go.
It was a strong two games. I also think that their Ziggs being 9-1 and 5 made it a struggle for them. But I think they did very well for Purdue being how good they are. But I think SSU did a great job against this team, and they have nothing to be upset about. I think that they should keep their heads up. It was a good game.
Keeping your heads up is very important, and just being like, all right, that happened. It was unfortunate. How can we improve for the next time? How can we improve for the next game? It is unfortunate, but they did a very solid showing, especially towards the end, where they almost looked like they were going to stabilize against all odds.
That ending was good. It was a good ending. I don't think they have anything to be upset about again. They played very well today. And they just need to keep their heads up and go into the next game, with the same mentality.
Indeed. They just have to go into the next game for the next time. But for now, I think that is all that we will have. That is all. We potentially have a post-game interview, I do believe. Is that correct? We will see. But for now, I believe that we'll be going to a little bit of a break for now. So Welcome back, Shawnee State University, and anyone else who happens to be watching. We are joined by Countdown Legend, the support player for the SSU Bears. Thank you for joining us, Countdown Legend.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, how did it feel playing during that last game, if I might ask?
The last game, we got really pumped for the second game. Like we were really excited. Like even though it's a loss, but like we learned so much from it. So, first game, the draft wasn't really good. Like we understand like what we're doing wrong, like because we're getting ganked too much, and like we should have known that it's coming, but we kind of like still like didn't prepare for it enough, I guess. So moving on to the second game, so we thought like the Leona was like a better pick. Try to find an engage, give like Jeremy a chance to like do something, and you know it was a really good game to be honest. Like we tried, like it was so close. Like some fights, like we were so close on coming back, but like like it's those games. Like
Yeah,
definitely.
I think you guys did really well. That second game. I have a question though. What was your mentality going into that second game? Like, what did you want to do for that second game?
so second game, like the mentality has been like obviously like to be more aware of gangs, like like we know because we knew they're gonna do the same draft. That Jarvan is gonna be there. They know they're gonna focus bot. So we were like trying to communicate with Jeremy a lot. Like jungle visions, like where's the jungler at? Is he coming bot? Like they're gonna get top and stuff like that. So it's like constant communication was there. Because the first game, like we had communication, but I think we couldn't react. We didn't react fast enough. So second game, moving on onto it, so we were like more focused, like more kind of like more pumped up, like trying to like get a game from them. So that's what the mindset was, like to try to get a game out of it. So
Of course, and I must ask, if you don't mind disclosing, how did you feel during those matches with your engages and especially as a Leona? How did you feel?
I mean, the best thing about playing Leona, if you can land like most of the abilities, like really at the right time. The timing is all about timing, right? So if you're able to land all those abilities, like you'll feel good, like 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 I can lock down somebody, like who's like really really ahead, carry ADC. I mean, it don't really matter, but like it's just you get so pumped, like to do like, I mean, if you watch the second game, obviously you did. Some of the fights are very close. Like it's just like matter of like positioning, like and stuff like that. So feels good. Feels good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It should feel good. You
Yeah.
guys did really well.
Yeah.
How do you, outside of the games today, how do you feel about the League of Legends team, being on the League of Legends team? This is your first year, yes?
Yeah. Yeah. This is first year. Well, it's been great. Like the whole team has been like so nice to me. Like Travis, so good. Like I mean, you guys also do a awesome job as casters and stuff like that. So I'm happy, like to be playing and stuff like that. But the best thing is always like the learning experience, the learning curve. Like for all of this, like we come here to learn and enjoy. That's the big part of it. So fighting against like all these like you know players that we know they are better than us, like we know where to improve, what we should do and stuff like that. So moving forward, like I'm excited, like to see like how we can improve, how we can play better and stuff. So
How are you feeling about the Midsummer Conference that is coming up very soon? South Conference. My apologies.
you good, you good. Uh, so currently, like we have few champions that we want to like train and stuff. So I mean, since like we usually like stick to the champions that we're gonna play and we try to practice it more. So usually these kind of games like gives us a chance to like look forward to like what we're missing, like what we're lacking, what we should pick up, what should work on, the macros, the vision and all that stuff. So like I'm excited like what we're gonna do next and stuff. So yeah, like we have plans, like we do have plans. So
I think the last one here, unless Badger, you have anything, is what would you like to say to anybody looking like into esports or League of Legends with you being your first year here?
I mean, I would say like if you lose, it's fine. Like, don't be discouraged. Like, there's always a path. Like, you look into it. Like, it's all like you have to spend. Like in any sports, like you have to spend time. You have to be focused. You have to be committed. So just because you lost, you don't have to be like sad and upset or anything. But there's always something you can learn from, because end of the day, it's like what you learn, right, from every game, like what you learn and stuff. So I learned a lot, like, because if compared to like the first game I played and where am I right now, like you can tell like I did like improve and stuff. So that's what I want, like improving, getting better and stuff.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to anybody watching?
Uh, Let me think. Like, kind of think like what I'm gonna say. I'll just say like it's a support. Like people will be like support is like easy and stuff, but like it's not, like, because like the team depends on you. So like that's what it matters. Like you have to like you know see what goes with it. No, I don't play a lot of support technically, but like I have very limited champion pools, but I'm opening it up so that it gives my team, my squad, a chance to like because if they want to perform at like very high level, very high heights, you have to open up yourself for all those like improvement like and stuff. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us for this interview, and thank you very much for everyone who came to watch this. That'll be the last. I believe that'll be the last bit of things that for today. And thank you very much for showing up. And we will see you all next time. Take care.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
I grew up making games, so I wanted to make a career out of that. Shawnee being a small school was the thing that drew me to it. Shawnee is nationally ranked in the Princeton list for game design. A lot of the professors own their own businesses. That kind of prompted me to start my own business. I started a game studio. I don't think that would have been possible if the school were bigger, and Shawnee put that all together for me. I'm Dalton, and I invite you to discover Shawnee State University for yourself. Please visit discover.shawnee.edu.